This is why I can't stand kids with uneducated parents. They're so rude and difficult to deal with. Who are you talking about? Oh, you don't get it unless I spell it out for you. Guess you're not too bright either. I'm talking about your mom. She's just pretty, and all she does is laugh. That's not true. Poor you, raised by someone so foolish. You can't choose your parents. My name is Emily. I was lovingly raised by my reserved dad, Joseph, and my mom, Anna, who was always kind with a beautiful smile. Dad was often away for work, but I remember having lots of fun with him on his days off. Mom was always there for me, a calming and warm presence in my life. Every day spent with Mom was a comforting experience, a sanctuary for me. I love both my parents very much, and they love me too. Even someone as mild-mannered as me might get genuinely angry if someone disparaged my parents. I had a dream about marriage, marrying the person I love, combining two warm homes into one. How happy would that be? I'd always fantasize about it. Some might say it's nothing but a pipe dream, but I had that much confidence in my family. Richard, my current husband, respected my feelings. We met while working a part-time job. He was attending a prestigious university while I was just a high school student going to an ordinary school. We were casual friends at first, but gradually grew closer. I ended up going straight into the workforce after high school, while he was still a college student at the time. We were attracted to each other because we had different perspectives stemming from our different environments. About a year into dating, he proposed to me. Our families get along really well, so I'm sure we'll also make a great family. I was really hopeful hearing him say those things. We got married, believing in those words. I had imagined a happy married life, but life isn't always that easy, is it? Little did I know that this decision would throw my life into chaos. Emily, when are you planning on moving in with us? Make up your mind, please. What? Move in together before marriage? We lived together in my apartment and continued to do so after, since we had no kids. I figured we would keep living there, but it seemed that wasn't good enough for my mother-in-law, Rebecca. You're married to my son now. That means living together. Isn't that obvious? Is it? Richard never mentioned anything. You can't figure this out without your husband telling you? Use your brain a bit. I'm sorry. I'll discuss it with Richard and let you know. Just like that, my newlywed life turned into living with my in-laws. I didn't mind living together, but there were some things that bothered me. What is this? Cleaning? Unbelievable. How can you be so lazy? Did I do something wrong? I tried to be as thorough as possible. I had swept and wiped the floors, even used tape to pick up small dust particles. I removed water stains and dried the wet areas. I even did regular mold removal. What? Can't you see the ashtray is full of ash? That's from David, who just smoked. I can't handle every instant. Home should be a relaxing place, and you leave a dirty ashtray. It's because you don't respect me that things are like this. I can't believe you're so inconsiderate. It was my father-in-law, David, who was smoking, filling up the ashtray that I had just cleaned. I can't keep up with that. Rebecca just doesn't get it. And what is this food? It's inedible. What kind of upbringing leads to this kind of taste? I think it's pretty average seasoning. What exactly didn't you like? Don't you know without me saying? It's too salty. You're jeopardizing our health. I didn't think it was that salty. I'll be more careful next time. Please do. We can't stay healthy if we keep living like this. I always thought my cooking was just average. I don't have an extensive repertoire of fancy gourmet dishes. What I lack in style, I make up for by consistently creating dishes that taste just fine. However, no matter how careful I was with my seasoning, it never seemed to please. Rebecca, you've got to be kidding me. This is too salty. It's like you're doing it on purpose. I didn't mean to. I thought I made it quite mild. No matter what I cooked, Rebecca always had complaints. But when her friend came over and tried my fried chicken, she had something different to say. Oh wow, this fried chicken is delicious. Did you make this? Yes, I took my time to prepare it, knowing you were coming over. You're too kind. Despite constantly criticizing me, Rebecca had no problem taking credit when her friend complimented the food. Make that terrible fried chicken again. I'll just have to bear it if you don't like it. I can just buy something from the store. Didn't I tell you to make it? At least this way you can recognize your own shortcomings. Rebecca would make me cook fried chicken. then pack it up and give it to her friends as if she made it herself. She would lie about being the cook, then turn around and criticize me. I never understood what Rebecca wanted. She probably didn't like me, but she wanted the neighborhood to think well of her. I had to live in this environment. Every day was stressful, and it was wearing me down mentally. Neither my husband nor David ever stepped in to stop this cycle. Both seemed to tacitly agree with Rebecca, leaving me feeling more isolated. This is my first experience with married life and living in a two-family home. Maybe this is just the way the world works, and I'm the one who can't handle it. I had no one to talk to, so I tried my best to endure it on my own. Emily, my clothes haven't been ironed. I wanted to wear this outfit for lunch today, but you said you wanted to wear something else yesterday. I've already ironed that. Well, I changed my mind. Being my son's wife, you should have anticipated that. At this point, I had no idea what the right thing to do was, and I was utterly frustrated. In that house, I felt like I had no allies. I gritted my teeth and put up with it, thinking that patience was my only option. Then one day, the inevitable happened. Rebecca made sarcastic comments to me, as usual. By now, I've grown used to it and don't take it too seriously. Maybe she finds my reactions boring because her attacks have changed lately. You're always so inadequate no matter what you do. I'd love to know your upbringing. I was raised by my parents just fine, thank you. Maybe I'm not perfect, but talking back? Huh, exactly my point. Normally, people don't raise children to talk back to their mother-in-laws. It's all your mother's fault. She doesn't have any impressive degrees, does she? She might not have degrees to flaunt, but that's a different issue. See, talking back again. That's why you're no good. Your poor upbringing really shows. Enough. Can you please stop insulting other people? I can't take it anymore. My voice grew stronger as I couldn't hold back my emotions. Rebecca didn't miss my slight glare. This is why I hate kids with low-educated parents, so impolite and difficult to handle. Stop talking about my mom. Education has nothing to do with this. Oh, you must be stupid too then. Your incompetence speaks volumes. Must be nice to skate by on your looks alone. I haven't, but that's beside the point. You're pathetic. You're raised by such clueless parents. Well, you can't choose your family? She continued to insult my mom, and I had reached my breaking point. If you continue like this, I have my own thoughts too. I never intended to live with you in the first place. What? We took you in, didn't we? We're housing someone as incompetent as you. You should be grateful because we felt sorry for you since you couldn't receive a proper education. Rebecca sneered as she taunted me. Enough is enough. You have no right to say these things. At least my mom never raised me to insult other people. David finally broke his silence after hearing our exchange. What's with that tone? Don't you have any respect for us? I'm just giving you guidance. That's what a daughter-in-law should be grateful for. Let me be clear. I have no respect for you. All you do is complain, right? You're unbelievable. You don't belong in this family. Seems like you need some tougher lessons. David seemed quite frustrated with my defiance. My husband watched this whole exchange without intervening or saying a word. This situation is just not right. I thought we'd be a good family. I decided I couldn't stand my husband or his parents any longer and chose to divorce and cut ties. This family is messed up. I can't take it anymore. I'm cutting you all out of my life. What? You're divorcing him? You've got guts. Leave right now. I took David at his word, quickly packed my bags, and left my in-laws' house. I tried to calm myself down, but I couldn't anymore. When I rushed back to my parents' house with my bags, they greeted me with shock. After sharing what happened, they silently hugged me and patted my back. You did well. You didn't do anything wrong, and thank you for standing up for yourself. My mom comforted me in a gentle voice. Dad, quiet as ever, seemed to be contemplating something. After a while, he started to speak. I have a plan, Emily. Take some time off. Leave the rest to me. I was surprised because Dad never says things like this, but his serious expression made me believe him. Since I didn't think things would work out with my in-laws, I drafted divorce papers and sent them, as I had declared. I don't know what my husband thought, but there was no rebuttal from him. All done. Goodbye. That was the only message I received. I shed no tears over the abrupt ending. Then the situation took a sudden turn. As soon as our divorce was finalized, Dad sprang into action. "Hey, what's going on? I have nothing to do with this." Out of nowhere, I got a call from Richard. "What's this about? Stop calling me. We're done, remember?" A project I was spearheading just got abruptly canceled. They said they couldn't do business with someone as untrustworthy as me because I hurt Emily. Upon hearing more, I find out that the new project Richard was responsible for got canceled. The reason? Apparently, his dishonesty toward me and the hurt he caused me was to blame. I couldn't see how these dots were connected. As I'm on the phone with Richard, Dad steps in and takes over the call. "Is this Richard? I'm the one who canceled the deal. I don't think you're someone I can do reputable business with." "What? Why are you involved, Joseph? This has nothing to do with you. You don't have the right to call me Joseph anymore. You didn't know that I was the client, did you?" "What, Joseph? You own that company." Turns out the company Richard was dealing with was actually Dad's company. Dad knew Richard was involved and tried to distance himself as much as possible, but after this incident, he reviewed the work and found it to be pretty sloppy. "You're just dumping your work on your subordinates, just like you ignored Emily." "That's not true. I heard from my staff that progress isn't being made. It's not realistic to continue business just for the sake of it. Plus, your family even insulted Anna. Treating my precious family with such cruelty is reckless. That's a misunderstanding. Even after the divorce, your mom kept sending snide remarks to Emily. That's concrete proof. This has nothing to do with me. It's what my mom did. How can you mix this up with business? You're not even competent at your job? Plus, you submitted the divorce papers without any hesitation, didn't you? You never protected Emily from the snide remarks your mom made, did you?" Dad calmly corners Richard with these points. "I might have considered working together if your only issue was incompetence. But I've lost all trust in you and your family. I don't care what your company thinks of me. I won't do business with you. This is unfair. Personal matters are affecting a fair business deal. If you have complaints, go through the company. From now on, I will only communicate with a company representative." With that, Dad hung up the phone. Continuing from where we left off, things took a turn for Richard and his family. Richard's project got officially scrapped. Though he tried to protest the decision, the company reprimanded him for his laziness. Not only did this put a stop to his career progression, but news of his irresponsible behavior spread. The end result? He was transferred to a remote location. Even though he was in sales, he found himself doing nothing but manual labor at a small rural office. Basically, a demotion. Rebecca and her family showed up at our house, tears in their eyes, offering apologies. But Dad was having none of that. "You've disrespected our family enough. I'm the head of this household, and my job is to protect my family. As far as I'm concerned, what happens to you, who are no longer family to us, is none of our business." Rebecca got pretty emotional, crying and shouting so loudly that the neighbors could hear. "Richard got demoted because of you. What are you going to do about it? If you cared about Richard, perhaps you should have instilled better values. Maybe you should have raised him to be an adult who can protect his own wife." We told them to never contact us again and forcibly showed them to the door. After that, Rebecca stormed into Richard's company to lobby for better treatment for her son. That didn't go over well either. It became a notorious incident within the company, and Richard felt so uncomfortable at his new post that he ended up quitting. Looks like Rebecca's recklessness cost him his job. As for me, I'm taking some time to recover, both physically and emotionally, at my parents' home. I couldn't find it in me to make it work with Richard and his family, especially after they insulted my beloved mom. For now, I'm totally over the idea of marriage. Instead, I want to focus on showing gratitude to my parents and strengthening our